What's up, guys? Welcome to A Vibe Called West Radio, episode 8. Today we have a really incredible artist that, I've actually had a friendship kind of grow through this app called Music Swipe. Shout out Music Swipe, who, someone that I admire musically, and also, I met at these events and has been just a really great person. So I wanted to bring you on. Like, what's up, Rauly, man?
What's up, man? Appreciate it. Yeah, man, it's been dope. Like, shout out Music Swipe for sure. That's how I met GRANDVIEW, how I met a bunch of artists. So yeah, bro, glad we could do this.
Of course, man. Just off the bat with, Music Swipe, I kind of want to give them a little bit of shine. How have you, can you kind of tell people like what Music Swipe is like for an artist, or like what it's like to be on there?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I mean, it's super dope. So I think, well, the app itself I learned about through the CEO, Jackie, and that's super cool. They call it like, Tinder for musicians or something like that, where you basically you swipe right if you like an artist, and then it like will connect you to them in like a group chat or just in all their stuff. So that's been super dope, like meeting people through that function on the app. But then also they have events for artists where like we go and we just kind of like mingle, and I've met so many just dope artists, including yourself, and it's just been super like inspiring and just super dope to just meet people that are succeeding and doing the same thing that I want to do. So yeah, shout out Music Swipe for sure.
Yeah, like actually, so when we were kind of starting this conversation, you brought up the idea of how important collaboration is between artists. Can you kind of speak on that again? Because I thought that was really fascinating when you were talking about that.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, I think it's definitely kind of something that's necessary for any artist that wants to blow up. I think the last year I've been really focusing on my craft, but I think once you have what your vibe is down, then you can start, collaborating. And like all of my favorite artists have collabed together or just collabed with someone, and like most of like the best songs ever made are collaborations. Like, I think collabing is like just to kind of join worlds, introduce fans into other like other artists, and yeah.
Exactly. That's kind of what I was saying, is like right now there's so much noise and it's so saturated that like I feel like cross-pollinating and like joining those worlds is like such an organic and cool way, because it's one thing to like pay for ads or like like playlisting on Spotify, but I think to me that's really awesome, and it's led me to like start this and have great conversations with you. And I want to bring up really quick, so I remember like when we first met, you told me that you drive up to all these events from, Orange County, right? So is that where you're from?
Yeah. So I'm born and raised from Fullerton, California. It's about like 30 miles south from here. Basically like more towards LA than San Diego, but for people that only know that, it's like in between LA and San Diego, basically. So yeah, grew up there my whole life, went up north to college, graduated, and now I'm just back home right now trying to save some money to just spend basically all my money on music.
Dope. Yeah. I want to kind of go back. Was music always a really big part of your childhood, or was it something that manifested like when you were older, would you say?
Yeah, man. So it's been a huge thing. So there's like, pictures of me like singing, and like one picture that's definitely going to be my album cover is like a photo of me at like 2 years old with a guitar, but like so not that I was like playing or shredding, like still, my dad plays. So like he just was probably like, let's put the guitar on him and take a picture. But it's like such a like dope kind of like thing that shows like music was always around me. Like my dad played guitar, he still does play guitar, and so I also grew up like in like choir and like doing like musical theater stuff. My little sister does musical theater now to this day, but I stopped doing that when I was like in high school. But yeah, so definitely growing up, like all that was music was a huge part, but it was just like, oh, I don't know, like if I could ever actually do it, you know what I mean? Or just like go, like it was just kind of like a hobby, or just like it was like a passion. It was in me, but it was like, well, I didn't blow up like before high school, so I guess I'm going to college now, you know what I mean? Like that's
what SoundCloud like made you feel like it was gonna happen, but
right, it felt okay. Well, if I didn't blow up on SoundCloud, then I have no shot, or just like, you know what I mean? Like 100%. just kind of like not realizing, okay, well, you have to put in a lot of the work first. Like I was just barely writing songs and just being like, okay.
Yeah, but the interest was always there.
Oh yeah, big time. It's always been there.
Yeah, shout out your dad. I think it's always dope when you have that connection with your parent in music. Sure. So was he ever in a band, or was he always just like playing for fun?
He tells me about it when like it's kind of funny because I guess nowadays it's not as common, but I guess back then it was very common to just have a band like at a party and just like play.
So sick.
So like he would do like that, like in high school, like just play at like parties and stuff and just like do that, like not anything serious, but yeah, he does say like, he never really tried. He just worked, but like that's something he kind of regrets a little bit, but he just had to work and just do his thing. But that's why I'm so grateful to like that now I can follow my dreams because he worked so hard. And but yeah,
it's amazing, man. And with I think that the household is always a great introduction to music, not just like with your dad playing, but what were some of the songs that you were hearing when you were growing up that probably made you a fan of just music in general?
Yeah, for sure. Well, it's kind of funny. I was I wouldn't say like super sheltered, but in the sense like my parents didn't really play a lot of like they like kind of like Led Zeppelin and Prince. Like I heard them, Aerosmith, like popular bands from back then, but I would like mainly listen to just like Radio Disney shit when I was growing up, you know what I mean? Because I was like a kid. Yeah. And like, yeah, I don't know. I think who really got me into like songwriting was like Ed Sheeran and John Mayer and like Jack Johnson. Those are probably like the big guys where I like was like, okay, like I would like learn their stuff. I learned a lot of Beatles songs. We had this big like thick book of like all the chords to like all these different Beatles songs before you could just like look it up on the internet. And so like, yeah, I just would go through like that and just learn different songs and on guitar. So like, yeah, I would say, cause I started playing guitar at 8. So it's a lot of like more acoustic guitar people that got me into music. But then I heard, 90s rock, and then I heard like Drake, and I was like, oh shit, this is fire. And then it's just kind of all combined into like what I do. Yeah,
definitely. And then so I know you were naming some of the, the Jack Johnson, Ed Sheeran. When you first started, like when did you first start writing songs?
Yeah, I think I wrote my first song when I was like 12 or like some shit, but like, just like, just like on like simple guitar. But like the first time I like recorded and like posted shit on SoundCloud was actually the second semester of my senior year of high school.
Oh shit, that's awesome.
So I put some I think I deleted it now, but because they were really bad.
I was gonna find it, man.
Yeah,
yeah.
But
I was gonna go Nardwuar and try to like go with the paths. Yeah.
It was called Recorded from Home because it was recorded from home. I don't know.
On the nose, I love it. Yeah.
So I released like 5 songs, but those were probably the first songs that I like wrote and like on guitar and like recorded and sang. But then like, yeah, it's just kind of funny. I kind of took like a little hiatus, I guess, in a way, where I would write like a song every like couple months and then I just release it and just be like not that good, honestly, because like I mean, I don't know, like I just wasn't writing every day like I have been for the past couple years now. So just different times. But
yeah, definitely.
I would say my first song I ever wrote was like 12, but like my first song I like actually wrote, I would say I'm like 18 or like second semester of high school.
Do you remember the name of the song you wrote when you were 12? Sicko Mode.
I think it's like I Really Loved You or something like that. It was a breakup song. I was still writing breakup songs back then, bro. Like that shit's hella funny.
It's become, it's what came to you naturally.
Yeah, it did, I guess. Dope. Yeah, I think it's a lot of it too is like just love and all that. I just like love to write about that since back then. That's what I know. So
definitely. And then so I'm crafting the story. So where does the 5 songs or 6 songs you release on SoundCloud transition into Rauly that we know now? Like what is that in between kind of time?
Oh, there's a lot. Okay, so that I was raw, and then I go into college and I'm like really, it's like 2016, 2017, and I'm like really loving the hip hop that's coming out around that time.
Like who specifically?
Like fucking Drake, Ye, fucking Mac Miller, fucking even Travis. I guess that was like 2017.
Yeah, but Scott,
around there, Travis. Like, so I'm just really loving like all those big artists, right? Like, and I'm just like, kind of like I'm gonna be a rapper now, like, not like you like rapping, more like
melodic
singing rap.
I know what you mean. Yeah,
exactly. Like, I'm not spitting like crazy bars or anything, but I'm just like, melodic rap. Yeah,
it's the feeling that you're giving with
and
it,
like the beats. So it's like I started doing a little bit of that, and I was like just releasing some stuff, and I don't know, it just wasn't really me. So then there's that. Then I kind of get more into like my R&B vibes later on in college, and then I'm in my 5th year of college. So I did a 5th year of college to get my master's. And so
That's amazing.
While I'm getting my master's is when I really just went crazy, because it was during like a pandemic. So there was nothing to do. So I was literally just writing, making music every day, like during the pandemic. So that's when I got really like way better, learned how to record and produce myself. I used to go into a studio. Now I could just do it all myself. Send my music to Charlie. He likes it, introduces me to Busco, who's like my producer now. And then we've just been making music since. And then I changed my name to Rauly to like be this. That's when I start Rauly. Is like after I graduate from my master's program. So that was 2 years ago.
Dope. Well, congratulations on getting your master's. That's not like an easy
feat.
Thank you. It's amazing, man.
It's kind of crazy. It doesn't feel like it though. I did finance and analytics. So it's like finance, but then like programming.
So very artistic.
Super artistic. Super crazy, man. I don't know. It's very weird. Yeah. Cause I'm so artistic. And when I tell people, like, would not expect that from me. Like, I don't know, like that meet me, maybe I don't seem like I would have my master's, cause I'm kind of like, I'm not like this. I don't know. I don't like act a certain way or whatever. Like, cause I am an artist at heart, but it was just something I did, I get. Like, I don't know. I'm not going to say I'm passionate about finance, but it was just something I did for my future, and just not knowing if music was in the cards for me in the future. And it's kind of funny because it was like, I wrote this song called Obvious that is like my most streamed song, and I wrote it like 2 weeks before I met Charlie. And I wrote it about, it's so obvious that you like love music and you want to do music. Why are you getting your master's like in finance right now? And I wrote it about that. And I'm saying like, here now I'm waiting for a sign to tell me something I already know. It's obvious. And then like a week later, I got the sign of like Charlie just being like, yo, like this is fire. Come to my studio. Like, let's work and all this shit. So it was just a crazy thing to think about now. But
it happens like that, you know, all you need.
It happens, yeah.
You know, it's like I had a similar story where like, you know, when someone in the industry kind of gives you the wind in your sails, you're finally, you know, because you have this feedback loop in your head that it's impossible, it's really hard.
Yeah.
And then you get that, you know, affirmation. It's kind of it's all you need.
It's crazy, right? Because I feel like my whole life people were like, oh, you're a great singer, you know, like da da da. And they're like my friends though. I'm just like, oh, okay, like they're my friends. Like I'd get some messages, but it's like to have like someone like that actually was like in the industry, like you can do this. Like that was like huge. So yeah. Shout out Charlie, that was huge.
Yeah, I want to get into your relationship with Charlie and your producer, but really quick, I want to like, what's your opinion on, you know, there's obviously the story of like J. Cole in college doing music. Like, do you think that was a really valuable time in your life? Like, what do you think is like the relationship with like a musician in college, would you say?
Oh man, I love this. Oh dude, I you know, I feel like I'm someone who could totally speak on that, right? Because I literally got my master's, like, and I don't plan on really ever using it, I hope. Like, I mean, I don't plan on it, right? I guess I would say you learn so much more in college than just like the books. That's like the one thing for me was I learned about living on my own, you know, feeding myself, like, you know, like just, and I know a lot of like, I think it's also just from the background I have, having like, my mom was a stay-at-home mom, so she did like a lot of stuff for me, you know what I mean? Yeah. Just like straight up, honestly. So like, you know, living on your own in college and learning all that, learning about there's so many different types of people. You grow up in a high school where maybe everyone's the same, and then I go out to college and I meet these types of people I never meet before. Like, oh, people aren't as nice, or people aren't as chill. People like are very selfish sometimes. Like, you know, just being exposed to different types of people is something that is like almost invaluable, I feel like. And it's just kind of like even more than like whatever you will learn in the books or whatever. Cause I mean, I don't know, like it's hard to argue that everything you learn in college, like books wise, is like you're gonna use, right?
No matter what
major
exactly
it is. Because it's like, even like you learn some crazy math, but you're not gonna do that in a financial analyst. Like, it's like what you learn for a specific job, you probably learn more in that first year on the job than you're gonna learn in college, right? 100%. And I think a lot of people would agree with that. But I think it's mainly just the people that is something that is dope. The experiences, the parties, you know, relationships, and just learning how to be friends with people, like girls relationship, guys relationship, you know, whatever. But I think being a musician in college is very hard though. I mean, it is, but you can make it work. Just always make time for your music. And this is also coming from like a place where school wasn't, I didn't like hate school. So like if you hate school and you can't do that shit, then like don't, like I understand, right? Or like I don't understand personally, I guess, but like I can't imagine going every day and like just physically like hating school. Then maybe it's a different thing. But I will say stick it out, like shit, stick it out, because like a degree is something no one can take away from you. You get that degree, you have it the rest of your life. That's it. No one can take that away from you. You know what I mean?
That was a great answer. So, I hate school, by the way.
Yeah,
that's me.
Yeah,
that was me. I was a every school teacher. I'm so sorry. I was horrible in school. But you know, that was a great answer. But what I want to ask really quick is, let's just say like, you know, you stayed home and maybe just like got a job. Does the transition of adding that Y from Raw to Raleigh, does that still happen if you're not in college? Would you say?
Oh, dude, it's very weird, right? Because like, dude, it's really weird. So even if I never went to college, I don't know if I would have met Charlie. The only reason I knew about Charlie accepting submissions was because this guy that worked at the studio that I went to up there, his friend was already signed to Charlie's label and like told me, oh, he's taking submissions. So it's like, if I didn't go to college and then didn't go to that studio near my college, I would have never known Charlie's taking the submissions. I would have never sent it. It's just, there's so many different paths, right? Like, and there's so many what ifs, you know, like, literally. But I also feel like, okay, if I stuck my head down and full on went for music at 18 years old, would I be in the same spot? Would I be famous? You know, like what, like, you don't know, but I will say the path I'm on now is the path. It wouldn't have happened if I didn't go to college. So
no, it's the butterfly effect. You know, one thing affects
exactly
the chain of you know, the reactions of that. So then, crazy. You know, I would love to get some background on Charlie Heat and exactly what your relationship like is now, because that's amazing. First off, like a submission thing, like it's fucking sick, bro. That means like you're very talented. Like congrats on it. That's fucking awesome.
Thanks, man. Appreciate
Truthfully,
you.
Yeah, that's like a great story. Then can you kind of like,
crazy.
You know, so yeah, so what? Take us through what happens when you submit that song. What's going on in your head when you submit that song?
So I had just finished my first quarter of masters. So I was on quarter system. So there was like 3 quarters, or there's 4 quarters, but 3 quarters of like school. The 4th quarter summer. Okay, anyways, I don't really know how to explain that. But anyways, so I just finished.
Now they know.
Now they know.
Now they know, exactly.
System,
yeah.
Doesn't know, but
what college did you go to again?
I went to Santa Clara University.
Exactly. So now if you want to go to Santa Clara, now they know.
Yeah, now they know. Yeah. So so I had just finished my first quarter, and so then it was Christmas, and then I got some money for Christmas, and I used some of that to buy like a Newman, like a nice mic, and buy like a Focusrite, like, you know, the normal but I bought equipment kind of for like the first time. Like I had like the USB mics, like kind of like really inexpensive, but I bought like more expensive equipment, like the most expensive equipment I'd ever bought that, made like 3 songs, and then I see the guy from the studio post the thing and say like, oh, he's taking submissions. Then I'm like, oh shit, like this, he says like send it. So I'm like, I'm gonna send it tonight. So I'm like, okay, let me finish up this song. Like I really like this song. I'm just gonna finish up this song, and I send it. And I'm not thinking shit. I'm also thinking like, he is like a hard like rap like producer. Like his like a lot of his beats are just hard. Like they just hit, and it's like not for my voice, I would say. Yeah. He just released a song with Midwest and Denzel Curry, Tally. He produced that one.
Dude, Denzel's so like, fire. Yeah.
So so he's homies with Denzel, and he does a lot of shit with Denzel, but I'm not like Denzel at all. Right?
Yeah, that's like a hip hop motherfucker, like straight up. Like his last album was just straight bars. And,
exactly.
Like, yeah.
So I'm thinking he's not gonna reply, but like this could be sick though. I might as well just try. You know what I mean? Like, so I just send it. And then, it's just kind of like movie shit where I just like, it felt like it was a movie. I'm just like on my phone looking at my email, and I see like, oh shit, like he replied. And then I see like, Charlie's like, he doesn't say much. He's just like, this is fire. Like, let's see what you can do on these. And he just sends me like 3 beats.
Oh shit.
And then I just like fucking sent them back like a day, 2 later. That was like all I did the next day. Cause I wanted to show him like I can write and I can just give you a song the next day. Just wrote, gave him a song the next day, fire, sends me more. We kept doing that for like 2 weeks. I probably sent him like 5 or 6 songs. And then he invited me to his studio and then.
Yeah, the initiative in that, like that's what I want to speak on is like, I think, you know, kind of speak on like, what was your mindset, like the consistency of that every single, is that like, were you like, I just have to kill anything this guy sends me right now?
Yeah, literally. Yeah. I was just like, I'm gonna just go hard because this is my shot right here. I didn't do shit. Like I just stayed in my room and just made music like for those like days. Cause I was like, this is my shot right here. Like I have to impress him. Like, and, the first song I sent him like a pack of 3. And I think out of that pack of 3, one of them was the first song I released under Rauly, which is In the Eyes. So that was like the first song. And then I didn't know at the time, but all the beats he was sending me, the guitar player in it was Busco. But I didn't know yet.
Yeah, shout out Busco.
Shout out Busco. So Busco's huge too because, all the beats Charlie sent me were Busco's like guitar. And then Charlie does his drums because he's just crazy with drums and just, you know, adds his extra flair. But so I didn't even know that. Then I meet Busco. Then Busco's like, oh, yo, I have all these beats. Then he sends me all these beats. So for the first year, it was just like sending beats, just sending back songs, like, you know, probably like over 50. And then just like meeting him at his studio when he can, but he's really busy. Like he's just really busy, just always in the studio with someone. And I'm just like, damn, like I can't believe this dude's talking to me. But
yeah, I mean, like what I want to say is like, I hope everyone like, you know, hears that like it's one thing to get the foot in the door, but like you saw yourself to the seat by the work that you put in right there. So I hope everyone like hears that. It wasn't like, you know, you made one song and it's over. It's like, no, the one song sparks even just the smallest opportunity. And I think it was really cool that you illustrated that you pushed through that. That's awesome, man.
I want people to know that too, actually, that because I could have just been like, oh, I'm set. Like, this is sick. He knows me. And I could have just waited around and just sent him a song and just waited for him to just, you know. But instead, I'm like, he sent me. You know, also producers are like, oh, okay, I'll send you a pack of beats, like, and then you might make a couple songs. I was like, no, I'm gonna make a song to every single beat he sent me.
That's super smart, dude. Yeah, exactly.
I'm like, you know, like
it's a once in a lifetime opportunity.
Right, exactly.
Yeah. So speaking on just the story you were illustrating with, you know, the amount of songs that you wrote one to every single one of the beats that he sent you in the pack. I know when we were kind of off camera before the podcast even started, you were talking about the difference between the thinker and the doer. Could you kind of like tell the audience what that means to you?
Yeah. So, like to use it in that story. So, well, overall, so I'll say the thinker is someone who's just always, before they do anything, they're thinking, they're just like, how am I going to do it? I want to do this, but how am I going to do it? What am I going to do? Okay, now like 2 weeks have passed of you just thinking about what you're going to do, how you're going to do it, because you want it to be perfect. You know, you want all these different variables. Oh, I just thought of something else. Like, now it's been a month now. You know what I mean? Like, the doer will just do it. They'll just be like, okay, like, I'm going to just do it, and whatever happens, happens, but I'm making action. So the thinker in the month has done nothing, whereas the doer has done everything the thinker has been thinking about. Maybe not in the same like way or the best way, but they did it. In this situation, the thinker, he would send me a beat. He would send me those beats, and I'd be like going through the beats. I'd be listening to them, and I'd just be like, which one is like sounds the most like me? Which one is more my sound? Like, which one is the catchiest? Which one could I do this with? Which one could I do this with? Or I could just sit down and just write 3 songs and just write what comes out and just make it. So now a day or two's passed and I've already sent him 3 songs, or I'm like thinking what I could do. Like 2 weeks have passed now. Is he wondering what happened to him? Or is he on to his next guy, his next rising artist already now that he's talking to? Like, and now I've sent him like a song in 2 weeks.
Hell yeah, that's
kind of what I'm saying, right?
Yeah.
Is like, even for songs too, it's like, you know, you always think about, the like music video, like what am I gonna do? I want it to be perfect, like, which I do, right? I put a lot of thought into that shit, but at some point you just have to be like, we're gonna do it and we'll figure it out, and it'll be like me because it is me doing it. I feel like a lot of people think and stop, oh, is that me? Is that da 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 da? But like, if you do it, then it is you. Like, you don't have to think about it. Like, what you don't have to think about, isn't that technically like you then the most, right? Like,
yeah, it's the most authentic.
Yeah, it's the most authentic. So like, I'll be like, I want to release a new song, so then I'll just call my guy up and like, okay, we're gonna shoot the music video on Monday. And like, that just happened 2 days ago. I'm like, decided I want to shoot the music video on Monday, and we're gonna do it, and we already have a concept.
That's awesome.
I scheduled it on Monday before we had a concept.
But if
I didn't schedule it, would we have ever had the concept? Because now we have so much time to think about it. What is it gonna be? What is it gonna be?
There's no urgency if you didn't set that.
Right, exactly.
The appointment.
Yeah.
I want to speak on like, also it's like when with that point exactly, is like if you're waiting on that, because like there's no rules to this, but also like we're we're both very fresh into this, like we're learning with every single step. And if you only do one step, you only have one chance to learn. If you do 30 actions, they're not all gonna work out, but I learn something new every single day from my failures. Like one of the lines I wrote was like, I fail every single day the sun rises. Like you gotta fucking fail every single day, and you just kind of like build it. And then really quick, speaking on just like the doer aspect of everything, man, like what do you have planned to do this year? Like what's on like the horizon, would you say? We
got a lot of songs in the vault, and I think a lot of it is going to be more, I think last year was kind of a lot of like pop stuff and more R&B, and I would say this stuff is more like pop and like alternative rock, maybe more like kind of hyper pop type beats, but like it's still my voice, like it's still me. It's just kind of like I actually, when I was in high school, I was in a band. I forgot to mention this actually, but I was actually in a band in high school, and we did like alternative rock. So I do have that.
What was the name of the band?
As well. Auditory.
Love it. Okay.
Yeah, I actually think it's a dope ass.
Shout out Auditory.
Yeah, shout out Auditory. But
that's
yeah,
dope.
So so I think it's going back to like more of like the rock stuff. I would say this year. And yeah, just trying to do like a song a month.
It's always good.
Maybe an EP.
Yeah, like just giving yourself, it's it's like a lotto ticket these days with the algorithm. It's like give yourself as many shots as possible, and also the doing aspect is you're doing it over and over again. But I want to say, man, I'm a really big fan. I'm really
appreciate you, bro.
Yeah, I'm really excited for all I'm gonna get to see, not only as a fan but as your friend along this journey, man. And I just can't wait to also see you perform at the Music Swipe show. With Breaking Sound, kind of speak on that. Tell everyone what you're out doing there.
Yeah. So I got a show with Breaking Sound and Music Swipe on February 22nd at Adults Only Bar, and yeah, it's gonna be a lot of fun. I'm gonna be doing it with my producer Busco, and we're just gonna do a little acoustic set, just like acoustic versions of all the songs I released last year.
Hell yeah, man.
So yeah,
dope. So thank you so much for coming on, man.
Yeah, thank you, man.
We're going to go upstairs and crush that song. And thank you guys for listening. This is really, I hope that you guys learned. There's a lot to learn from this podcast. And just, hopefully you guys are a fan of a very talented musician. So Vibe Call West, episode 8, done. Champion with a buzz status of ambient, whose mother glows a goddess and his father's genius banished him to my millennium's people. I'm the prince who was promised on the 15th day in the warm air of August in the royal borough of Queens. Prince Carter first breathed. Every god gave applause, and that's just me being modest. I peeped the peaceful protest and the incognito evil. See, we weaponize Wi-Fi and quantified ego. Watch how keyboard swords make monitors lethal. How I feed eulogies, paint the nature of people. So here's my renaissance of better songs, my revolution for better music, the rebirth of lyrics worth the spark to start a music movement of Vibe Call West, where all of our streets are sunsets, where stars live below the heavens and the biggest seas are best friends. So now you understand me. I wanna win your heart before Grammy, but when I win a Grammy, my speech will speak on honor and family.